right, so now we're gonna move on to Clemson. Clemson, great year last year, 11-2, 11-2 overall, 8-0 in ACC play. Lost the Orange Bowl to Tennessee in shocking fashion because I didn't expect Joe Milton to look that great in that game, and boy did Joe Milton look really good that game. So shout out to him. So they did lose DJ, and hey DJ, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name, bro.
Uyunglele or
Uyunglele. They lost him to Oregon State. Will Shipley is a junior though, Ivan. That's like by far their best player.
Absolutely.
And they lost 6 guys to the draft, including Trenton Simpson. I think Brady Breeze, or not Brady Breeze. I'm sorry, that's the safety. Brian Breeze. There we go. So they lost a lot, but Clemson is known for reloading. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit.
I'm pretty excited to see what Clemson is going to do. I definitely want to know where Cade Klubnik's development is, because when he came in, he did play pretty well. I'm not saying that he was perfect, but I mean, I think he just needs to have the opportunity to go out there and show what he's got more. I have a question about their wide receiver group. I don't think there's any standouts for them. I don't think there has been in the last few years, actually.
I was just about to say the same thing. That's been a kind of an issue.
O-line as well. And they've missed the playoff for the last 3 years. So do you think this is a year where they can, turn it around and get back to where they were?
I don't think they made the playoffs this year. And it's a team that I believe that we'll talk about later down the line, which will prevent them from making the playoffs. But I'm in agreement with Cade Klubnik. Now, did Cade Klubnik come in and have Clemson lighten it up? No, he didn't. But they did look better with him over DJU. So I'm excited to see now he gets a full year under his belt, knowing that this is his team. He was actually, I think he was really recruited like heavily coming into Clemson. So
I believe so.
Now you get the keys. You got to show something. So they also bring in the 15th overall ranked recruiting class. So shout out to Clemson. They normally have a great recruiting class. That's what Sweeney has been doing these last couple of years.
Definitely.
You got the energy, the BYOG, bring your own guts, Death Valley. So
I will say one thing interesting about them, though. While they do recruit well, they don't necessarily take advantage of the transfer portal. And I think that's like going to be a distinct difference between them and Florida State this year. I want to see how that plays out.
Spoiled it, ladies and gentlemen. Florida State was definitely the team.
we knew what team we were talking about.
All right. So Clemson to start the year at Duke. I have this as a W. Shout out to Duke. I think Duke is actually a really good team, especially compared to these past years.
Yeah.
But I think Clemson is just a better team. They're the football program is more touted. This isn't basketball, so I got the W.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely want to give them that W. Might be a hard-fought game though. Duke is mildly talented team, pretty disciplined, well coached.
For sure.
That combination, who knows what can happen.
For sure. Then you have against Charleston Southern at home. That's a W. That's probably a blowout. That's one of the games you watch the first 2 drives and be like, all right, cool. I'm cutting this off.
That's probably a 70-pointer right there.
Yeah. So then you go on to FAU, which is another game. Hey, look, I'm going to watch the first 2-3 drives, see how this offense look, and what else is on. So I got the W against FAU.
Yeah.
Then we get into Florida State at home. And this is where I think Clemson takes an L. I'm just so high on Florida State. I'll get into that a little bit later. I got Florida State taking a W.
See, this one is tough for me because I think that them playing at home was going to help them a fair amount, especially it being such a big game. I don't think Cade has been in any other. I think this is probably the biggest game he's played in for sure.
For sure.
Besides the bowl game. So I think maybe the people in Death Valley give him a little help, and if they can convert, 50% of their third downs like they did last year, who knows?
Yeah, so I agree with you saying, even though it's not a bowl game or nothing like that, I agree because this game can determine playoffs. This game can determine, all right, we win this game here, we finish out the rest of the schedule going undefeated, we're probably in no matter what. We lose this game, we got to hope for Florida State to lose a game. We got to win the ACC championship. Hopefully we play them in the ACC championship.
But I will say this. I think if they even if they do lose this game, it's not the end of the world because one is so early in the season, and they don't have the divisions anymore, so they can still come out and run the table with everybody else and still end up in the ACC championship.
Yeah, I agree with that, but that's why I say like Hey, look, you got it. Yeah, you're right. Because if it's early, then a lot of dominoes can fall because you still got, teams cannot show up, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true. But you rather control your own destiny than worry about other people. So
For sure, for sure. But then when I look at them, I look at their schedule and I just wonder like, where's that trap game at? Like so it's always one somewhere on there.
oh, it's a trap game on there for sure. I don't know if they lose it, but it's a trap game, and I'm gonna get to it. You get
I
at
think
Syracuse after Florida State. I have Clemson beating Syracuse.
For sure beating Syracuse, probably blowing them out.
Yeah, even last year when I thought the game was be close and like, so then you get versus Wake Forest. I have that W easily, like another blowout game.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you play the U at Miami, which I don't think it'll be a blowout because it's in Miami, the heat, everything like that. But I do have Clemson coming away with the W. It might be, I wouldn't call it a 2-touchdown game a blowout. And then honestly, I wouldn't, even if Clemson wins by 3 touchdowns, I probably wouldn't call it a blowout against the U because I would expect more to call it a blowout, if that makes sense to anybody. I know normally if you look at a 21-point game, oh, it was a blowout. But depending on how the game was played, I probably wouldn't call it a blowout.
Yeah, I had that as a win for Clemson as well. A lot of that's going to depend on probably how Miami is doing that far in the season, which is going to determine how many people come out, which will determine if we got that home field advantage, which we will need desperately.
For sure. All right, then they go on the road to North Carolina State, which probably won't even feel like a road game. They're one state away. Probably more Clemson football fans than North Carolina State fans. So
probably.
I got that as a W.
Here's a good one right here.
All right. Now we got Notre Dame at home. And for the reason of it being at home in Death Valley, you touching the rock. Dabo Swinney's for sure going to have these guys ready. I have that as a W for Clemson.
I have that as a W as well. I think, revenge games, you can never understate them. I think they're going to come out and put their best foot forward against Notre Dame, especially Notre Dame team that should be fairly competitive in the realm of making it to the playoff.
Yeah, I agree. Then you have Georgia Tech coming to the crib after Notre Dame. I think this is a blowout. I'm sorry, Georgia Tech. I know y'all been playing better under your new coach, but it's a blowout.
Yeah. And that playing better under the new coach is kind of like, he was interim. He finally got the keys. I mean, they were playing better, but
they went 4-4 under him in last year. So, hey, look, the Georgia Tech ain't been good since what Justin Thomas and Darren Waller and DeAndre Smelton. So,
they'll take Calvin Johnson. Who knows?
They went to the ACC championship with Justin Thomas, man. So they lost, but
you're right. Yeah, you're right. They definitely did. Well,
so hey, they'll take 4-4. Shoot, they couldn't get wins with Jeff Sims and Jahmyr Gibbs, so they'll take 4-4.
Yeah, that's true.
So then we got UNC at home, so 3 straight home games, and I got, I love Drake May to death, but they gotta get this man a defense. So for that being said, I'm gonna go W against North Carolina.
I would go definitely W against North Carolina, but I'm not going to say that because of the defense. I don't know if they can keep Drake May not looking at the sky.
That's true too. Hey, look, I do agree with that. Hey, Clemson could put pressure on that boy early and often. So I agree. And then this is my trap game because they lost it last year.
Yeah.
And I was surprised.
Yeah.
And now we had the in-house in my little joke for South Carolina.
Yeah.
At South Carolina on the road. This could be a trap game, but I have them winning. I think Dabo's gonna remember us beating them last year. I know he ain't like that feeling.
I mean, this is a rivalry game too. Mm-hmm. Let's not get that confused. I don't think they're going to sneak up on them. I think they're going to be very prepared. They're going to have a bad taste in their mouth. Same thing with Notre Dame. They're going to show that we are Clemson. You should still be scared of us.
Yep. So with that being said, I have Clemson finishing 11-1, 7-1 in ACC play, and I do have them going to the ACC championship. How do you have them finishing?
I have them around 11-1 as well. I can't really tell you exactly where my loss is, but I can see them going 11-1 and definitely making it to the ACC championship. Ooh.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.